Hey, welcome back to Real Men Sports Talk here at Flip's Barbershop. Always glad to have you. Hope you're tuning in. Hope you share it with some folks and let them know about the podcast. We always enjoy their comments or questions, and also enjoy our sponsors. We appreciate all those folks who support this. It's kind of a crazy time this time of year. You know, football season's over. Basketball is really, to me, the main agenda of basketball in college is the big dance. That's about to get started. The NBA is well underway, and spring season in baseball. So there's a lot of things going on in the world, but I don't think anything matches up with the NFL stuff. And even though it's out of season for the NFL, still lots of big talk and lots of things going on. So I'm going to start off there in just a few seconds, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about or discuss the biggest game probably in the country this week will be North Carolina Tar Heels, my Tar Heels, and the Blue Devils from Duke University. That'd be Dennis's team. That might be why he was unable to attend today. He didn't want to have that conversation. Earlier in the season, he said that he was going to guarantee that the Blue Devils would make up for that loss that they had in Chapel Hill, and that they would come out victorious against the Tar Heels Saturday. Vegas is currently saying that the Tar Heels are favored by 4.5 points. I don't know who's going to take that or not take that. It's going to be a pretty tight game for sure. That game never really goes down like you might think it is. You think somebody's going to have the edge on it, but It's all the way to the end, and it's as good a rivalry and probably the best one in college basketball. And it'll be interesting to watch. I think that the ACC from top to bottom is a lot weaker this year than it has been. There's been a lot of teams that got on a little bit of a run, but the consistency is not there. Currently, the Blue Devils are ranked 10th, and then right in front of them are the Tar Heels 9th. Both of them have the same records. It's pretty like looking in a mirror. Both of those teams have kind of had the same kind of season and the same kind of stretch. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna stick with my Tar Heels for the sweep. And we'll see what happens. And then after that, the ACC tournament starts, and they'll start filling up those brackets. Some of those spots are already filled. There's tournaments going on. I think the Atlantic 10 tournaments playing this week, and they'll be able to decide who their conference representative is, and those blocks start filling out pretty good. I think there's 64 and maybe a few playing games with that. It'll be interesting to see, and we'll talk a little more about some basketball, but I just want to start off with the Tar Heels and Duke. I'd love to hear who you think is going to win this game this week and why. Duke has played well. They played well in the second half against the Wolfpack last night. The Wolfpack, to me, has had some really good play this year. They just can't seem to put two halves together. And it'll be interesting to see who gets in and who does not.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But I would think that unless something changes, college basketball is about who gets hot at the end. And I'd say we're at the end. So if you're going to get hot, you better start lighting the fire now. I just don't see a whole lot of the ACC going very deep into that tournament. But we'll see. It never works out like I think it is. So you just never know. But right now, the top two in the ACC are the Blue Devils and Tar Heels, and we'll go from there. But I want to talk about a little NFL to start off with, and just some big news this week. So the first episode we had during football season, we were talking about who was going to sign this person, who was going to sign that person. And there's a couple players I want to mention. So I don't know if you remember when we talked about Saquon Barkley, and people were upset that they're not paying him and they're not doing this or not doing that. He's kind of got into a pickle with that. The Giants did not have a good year in any way, shape, or form, and that was not Saquon Barkley's fault. I mean, they didn't have great quarterback play. They didn't have a lot great anything. But when I'm looking at that, sorry about that back there. I know we got some Giants fans in here, but he ain't here. Well, I ain't sorry to him. If he ain't back there,
where's he at?
I don't know, but sure ain't there.
You know, he's kind of been disappearing during the podcast.
Well, wouldn't you be if you were a Giants fan? I mean, I'm just saying. So what I'm saying is that they went through all the contract stuff. You know, he wanted to be franchised. He wanted this. He wanted that. The Giants did not give in on that, and they stuck with it, and they offered him a $23 million contract, and he turned it down. And as a result, he ended up the year with 964 rushing yards. And I think he's going to be in a tough spot to get the money that he's wanting. And I think that it's not just Saquon Barkley. I think that NFL running backs in management eyes, as a business owner, I think that they see them as expendable. And, you know, there's a lot of people who stepped in during the year as a backup running back, turned out to be pretty good. That position in the NFL is going to be a tough position for people to have any longevity. It's a hard road for them. They take a beating, they take a punishment.
Yeah.
And so, you know, on one side you can say, well, that's why they need to be paid early and often, because that life expectancy as a running back in the NFL just is not more than, you know, I would say 5 or 6 years. It definitely, you can see a trend going downhill. There are, you know, some instances where that's not true, but it's kind of crazy. So there's a lot of shuffling. I don't know if you know it this week or not, but this is when free agency opens. So people, the people who are in the front offices of these NFL teams, they're trying to lock down their players so that come free agency, nobody can swoop in and steal them. So for me, you know, I'm a Bucs fan, and so I wanted us to make sure we locked down Mike Evans. Well, we did that. We locked him down.
Right.
So if you want to keep your players, you got to lock them down. You got to pay them. All right. And sometimes that goes good and sometimes that goes bad. So does anybody have any idea how much Russell Wilson's going to get paid this year by the Denver Broncos and not even going to play? So he's going to make $39 million this year from the Denver Broncos, and he ain't going to play a down for him.
Wow.
He's going to make $124 million off the Denver Broncos for the next 2 years. For 2 years, he got $124 million. That's a lot of money. So
Sweet.
It's sweet for him, right? I mean, he give him credit. He's a whole lot better businessman than he is a quarterback. And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen with him. So if there's one little asterisk in there now, if he gets picked up by another team and they pay him, they get to subtract that amount from that $39 million. So where could Russell Wilson end up playing? Any thoughts on that? Anybody? I want to hear what you're thinking about.
Oh, hold on. Let me get this mic past him.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going to find a spot to land. The last couple of years he was in Seattle. I think he was a step or 2 steps slow. I think he was on the run. Seattle has improved some, but his inability to throw the deep ball or to get out of the pocket and scramble.
You got something to say about that.
So where do you think that possibly Russell Wilson could end up? Is there anybody that's going to pick him up? That's what I want to know.
Maybe Atlanta.
So let me tell you what I think about Atlanta. Now, y'all going to call me crazy. So I think there's 2 options in Atlanta, and I don't think Russell Wilson's going to be one of them. So I'm going to tell you, listen, I think as a human being, he's good, and I think he has some really good days, but he hadn't shown anything in a while. He's a step slow. He's not throwing it deep, and they spent way too much money on him. But here's what I'm going to say. So I like what he said about Atlanta, and here's what I'm going to tell you. I want y'all to brace yourselves. I'm going to tell you who's going to be the quarterback in Atlanta. So everybody think Pittsburgh would be a good one for Russell. I agree with that. We'll come back to that. But the Atlanta question is out there, and people are wondering. So, you know, maybe it's going to be Justin Fields. I don't know. I personally think, and y'all heard it here first, so y'all can say this, later if I get this wrong. I think Kirk Cousins goes to Atlanta. I think he's going to go to Atlanta. He's locked in, and the Vikings want to keep him, but they only want to keep him for that price. It's like, I'll keep it, but I ain't paying no more than that. If Atlanta jumps in and says, we'll pay you this, then I think Kirk Cousins might be a dirty bird. I think it's possible, but I also think Atlanta should pursue Justin Fields. It seems very clear that the first pick in the draft is going to be Caleb Williams, and he's going to go to Chicago. A lot of quarterbacks going down in this draft. This first 10 picks are going to be, I'm saying, 3 to 4 quarterbacks in there in the first 10 picks. But I don't see where Russell could go. I think that whoever said the Pittsburgh Steelers or Las Vegas, one of those places, I can see that. And the best part about that, Flip, didn't you tell me that Russell's going to be the minimum price quarterback? Is that right?
Yeah, and he's willing to give a deal.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to play. He's already got the money, so now he just wants a deal. So he's gonna be able to market himself at a very low price. And let me tell you, there's been some success with that in the NFL. Last year, nobody thought that the Bucs would make the playoffs or that Baker Mayfield would be able to help them. He signed a $1 million contract, which is nothing in the NFL. Because they got to the playoffs, he got to double his salary. He got a bonus for that. But it's just crazy about that. But just the crazy nature of free agency, it's getting ready to get wild in the next week. But we're going to talk more football. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back. We'll talk about a little more football. So just give us a few seconds. We'll take a break, and we'll be back here on the Flip side, here at Flip's Barbershop. Come back and listen.
Flip's Barbershop Sports Talk, streaming live every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Subscribe today.
All right, we're back here at Flip's Barbershop. As always, appreciate you tuning in. Drop us some comments, let some folks know, spread the word, and we sincerely appreciate that. I want to jump into a little NBA basketball right quick. So who's the hottest team in the NBA right now? Anybody know? Some dang Boston Celtics. What? Boston Celtics. Celtics, man, they have put together a really good season so far. Most victories in the league right now. They're 48-12. Their last 10 games, they've won 10 in a row, and they're getting a lot of folks playing really good. So the best teams in the East right now, if you had to draw it up today, it would be the Celtics and the Bucks. They're top two. As we were here last edition, I mentioned that the Cavaliers have played really well as of late, and that's impressive to me. I don't think that they have the star power that the other teams do, but their last 10 games, they've been 8-2 on that as well. So it's kind of crazy that the Cavaliers are kind of jumping in that. So that Eastern side, the one that probably gets the most hype are the Knicks. You know, the Knicks are in fourth place. And people love the Knicks. I'm not a Knicks fan, but they love that New York stuff. But now out west, when you go to the western side, it's a little bit different than what you would think sometimes. So the Timberwolves are leading the league out there. They're 43-19. The Thunder are one game behind them. Denver Nuggets, where you would think they would be, they're in third place out there, and then the Clippers are right behind them. So that's the top four from each side. Any surprises out there? To me, the surprise is that the Warriors are down. The Warriors are down. They're 10 or 11 games behind. And so the Lakers, we have to hear about Bron all the time. They're also not doing great. They're 34-29. So it's, the Lakers and the Warriors are 9th and 10th in the West. So they better pick up the game a little bit and turn it up a little bit if they're wanting to get into that mess. But right now, the NBA is it's kind of crazy. I think that the NBA game has evolved so much. There are some tremendous athletes, but for me, it's not as fun to watch as it was. Now, I'm old. I mean, I know this new generation, they love all that stuff, but for me, I miss the physicality of basketball games when you had to earn. You went into paint.
Yeah.
There's going to be some pain to make that shot. And I will tell you, I watched a video of that last night about the old days and all those people, man, they played so physical.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was personal. You come into paint, it's like somebody breaking into your house. They didn't allow that.
Yeah.
But now you breathe on somebody and it's, you know, shooting free throws. Yeah, I'm not into all that. But it's just, it's a hard game for me to get tied into, but a lot of people love it. And again, playoffs makes it a little better. I mean, the bigger the stage, the more fun it is to watch.
Right.
But NBA is definitely changed a lot since my generation was growing up, and that don't make it wrong at all. It just makes it a different style of game, and it truly is. But I will say kudos to the Boston Celtics. They have been pretty strong and fun to watch. They're impressive. So college basketball. So I'm gonna run down those college basketball numbers to let people know where they are. But before I do, kudos to a couple people. Caitlin Clark for Iowa, the Hawkeyes. She just broke the all-time NCAA scoring record. She passed up Pistol Pete Maravich from LSU way back in the day. And I saw where LeBron sent her a tweet and congratulated her, and that's a huge accomplishment for her. And it was a good game. They beat a good team, and I would love to see that. But I'm telling you now, I don't know, even with her skill sets and other people's skill sets, I don't think nobody in girls basketball's got anything for the South Carolina Gamecocks. I'm telling you, that bunch down there is pretty good, and we'll see what happens. But so here's the lineup now for the top 20 or top 10 teams in the country. By number 1 seed, unless something goes crazy, Houston. Houston has climbed to the top. They jumped over UConn. Both teams are 26-3. To me, Houston's got a little more offense than UConn. But both of them are pretty good. Purdue comes in at 3rd. Tennessee Vols, which has surprised me a little bit, but they have played hard. They're in 4th. Arizona came out of the gates hot. They're also 23-6. Caleb Love was playing some ball out west, and Iowa State, the men's Iowa State, they're playing they're 6th. It's got right now currently on this bracket, it's got number 7 North Carolina, number 8 Marquette, 9 Duke, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said watch out for Creighton. So Creighton, we called the upset, was going to beat UConn. They did. Creighton slipped into the top 10 now. They're pretty good. Baylor, I watched them last night. College basketball is probably one of my favorite games to watch. They play hard and they go hard. So Baylor's at 11, Illinois 12. Then you got Auburn. I like to watch Auburn, but man, Big Chuck goes to all them games. He's sitting on the front row. Charles Barkley loves his alma mater. He's all about it. Kansas and Kentucky, you can never count them out. They're 14-15. Alabama 16, and South Carolina is 17. I said earlier a while back that both South Carolina men and women's teams could make a run in that tournament, and I guarantee you the girls can.
Nice.
Washington State at 19, and Gonzaga and BYU finish it out. So do a little studying now in the next week or so. People's going to be breaking a bracket. Anybody doing a bracket? Anybody already in a bracket or going to get in a bracket? Anything like that? Waiting on them.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. It's got to wait.
Yeah,
like I said, they starting to fill up those spots now. Mm-hmm. Atlantic 10 Conference Tournament Championship starts this week, and week after next it'll be the ACC. So.
Man, I got a 2-part question. Rob Dillingham from Kentucky.
Rob Dillingham from Kentucky.
Do you think he will be one and done? And do you think he should be one and done or wait 1 more year?
So I'm going to say no to both. I think that he has had a dang amazing year. And, you know, we love all our local athletes. He is showing out completely. I think that when it comes to that, there's a little more to it. Because you got to figure out who else is going to be in that draft with you this year and who's going to be in it next year. I think he's still got some room to grow. I think he ain't even started to tap his highest potential. And he has made leaps and bounds this year. And I think he's going to continue to go get better and better. However, you know, money is money. And if it's on the table, it's hard to say, no, I think I'm going to do that. He can get better in the NBA too. But he is, I will tell you, it's refreshing to watch him. Not only is he good, he plays really hard. And the thing that I like the most about Dillingham is I read something that his coach said that no matter how good he is, he remains to be coachable. And, you know, sometimes you get that in your head that you're the best already and you don't have to put the work in. And I feel like he's definitely put the work in. And again, congrats to him. And there's been 2 or 3 games I watched. He just took it over. He's almost like a silent killer, and then all of a sudden, by the time you figure it out, it's too late. But yeah, Flip, he's all in, man. I think he's a solid ball player. I hope he does well, and I will say this: I am an anti-Kentucky fan, but it's hard not to pull for him. I mean, I don't pull for them, but I'll definitely pull for him.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not the Kentucky people. You know, that when you pull for a team in college basketball, you don't pull for none of them other people, especially the big boys, the Kentuckys, the Dukes, and all those people. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I'll be honest with you, he wasn't on as many radars as he should have been, and there's got to be some people who are upset that they let some stuff slip through there, but I don't think anybody would have ever projected him splashing on the scene like he has. I mean, he's made a tremendous impact for Kentucky, and I guarantee you they probably are begging him to stay another year at least. But yeah, I mean, it's great, and I'll be honest with you, we've had a lot of great athletes go to a lot of different places, and I'll tell you, this area has produced a lot of really good basketball players. But to get to the NBA is it's a tough road. There's so many great basketball players out there, and I will tell you, he's on that trajectory, and I hope he goes to the very top of it for sure. So yeah, it's crazy. High school basketball is going on, so I know that we have a couple local teams that are still in it. I know Hickory High School is still in it. I know East Burke, the girls are, I think, still undefeated. I think Newton Conover Red Devils and Bandies, if they both win the next game, they'll meet each other again. So we got some pretty good local basketball too, but I would just tell you to take some time to invest in those young athletes around here. Go watch them. There's some really good basketball teams around here. There's, like I said, the girls teams, the East Burke, East Lincoln, Hickory boys. Man, wouldn't it be crazy if they won the football and basketball?
And basketball, they got a good chance out
Man, they're pretty good. I mean, we know they're loaded with athletes. Joe Glass told us that. And I don't expect anything different than just a high level of performance for them. But hey, we'll wrap it up right there with finishing up with high school basketball. We appreciate everybody tuning in today.
Yeah, one other thing I want to say,
ahead.
man. Our views, I don't think I ever told you, man, but you know, our views is up to like 7K.
Hey, that's good.
So, like, you know, man, whatever we doing, man, they liking what we put down.
Yeah, that's why I really want their feedback. I want to know what they're hungry for, what they like, and the more controversial it is, the more I like it.
Yeah, and I think that's what we really, you know, especially off our shorts that we put out there, they really love when we, you know, kind of do the comparisons with some of these players from back in the day to now, things like that. Those guys go crazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, as far as like views and people checking us out, we're doing great. We're going to do some more campaigning for our subscribers, you know, so we can get them on board there, so we can get monetized. But as far as our views, man, they love us.
That's good. That's good. Speaking of our local guys, man, I look around the room, I see all these jerseys. We have a lot of them come through here, and we talk to them. It's always good to see them. before I came here this morning, I saw on social media my man Chris Ramseur. He's on a cruise somewhere enjoying himself right now. I'd like to get Chris to swing by here when he ever comes back in town. He's a good one as well. But yeah, I tell you, we're blessed with a plethora of really good athletes in this area. And I saw Mr. Holloway. I asked him in the grocery store the other day. I ran across him. He's got another fight coming up. And
Mr. Holloway, yeah, we want to get him back in here.
Yeah, he's a good one, man. I will tell you. I thought that, we were both after the same product, and there was just one left. And I thought, man, I hate I'm gonna have to box him for this guy. I got him last loaf of bread over here. But I let him have it because he's a little fella, and I didn't want him. I didn't want to get in the bare knuckle brawl in the food line and nothing like that. So I just let it go, and because he is so nice to come on our show, I let him off the hook on that. But yeah, we wish him well in his upcoming fight.
Yeah, Kev, yeah, you gotta come on, man. Let this guy know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, listen, but boxers are good, but you don't want to get between a fat man and some food. They can get wild. Hey, with that, we're going to close it down, and appreciate everybody, and we'll catch you next time here at Flip's Barbershop on the flip side.
Flip's Barbershop Sports Talk, streaming live every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.